So this will be available as all platforms, the VNL, the VNR, and the vocational product.
Hey everybody, CCJ editor Jason Cannon here with my buddy Duane Tegels from Volvo Trucks. Duane's one of the most knowledgeable guys about engines that I've ever met, and lucky for all of us, we have a brand new engine to talk about. You guys know me, I love trucks, I love engines, and we have a brand new 2027 EPA compliant engine to talk about. I don't know that much about it, that's why I brought Duane in to help us. So Duane, take it away, tell us about this brand new engine.
So the EPA 2027 emission engine was, the challenge was to reduce NOx by 83% and then reduce particulates by 50%. And then they came in with a low load situation where we had to reduce NOx at low loads, so kind of idles and again, I mentioned low loads. So that brought in some interesting challenges, with some great opportunities, and I think we can walk through some of the details that we have on the engine and let's see what we got.
All right, let's get up close with it.
So the engine we have here is offered in it from a 405 1450 up to a 540 1950. So our desire was to not affect fuel economy or performance and overall cost of ownership in this vehicle. So it starts with the foundation of the engine with the block, compacted graphite iron. Compacted graphite iron gives us a 75% increase in tensile strength. That's allowed us to change the compression ratio from 18 to 1 to 20 to 1.
Volvo has also improved its new piston design, going from a 7-wave piston to a 14-wave piston that it mixes fuel and air a little more efficiently, reducing soot and also reducing NOx just a little bit further. Moving to the back of the engine, historically Volvo's had 3 pumping injectors on top of the head, but now the company has come to an exterior-mounted high-pressure common rail pump. It's oil lubricated, fueling the common rail injection system.
You have a closed-loop crankcase ventilation system, so this is now driven electrically. The last one was driven by oil pressure, so that gives us a little bit reduction in parasitic loss and also efficiency. So then any sort of hydrocarbons or NOx wind up going back into the intake, the turbo.
Around to the front of the engine, you'll find a variable displacement cooling pump. That gives the engine just the right amount of cooling based on the application of the engine. Whether it's running hot or running cold, since it's completely variable, it's reducing parasitic loss.
Here we have our crankshaft decoupler. The requirement from the EPA was low load NOx reduction, and that happens typically at idle. So there's a little bit of torsional vibration at idle. We'll have a 48 volt alternator here, 24 volt as we have today. But the idea with the decoupler was to give us consistent energy. We had a little bit of vibration, so that's what happened with the decoupler is it reduces vibration, doesn't affect the shaft speed of the alternator, so we don't get voltage spikes on the alternator, giving us an extended life on the alternator. And you move around the back of the engine on the hot side of the engine, notice we've had an improvement on the EGR valve. Previous VGT engine was all controlled hydraulically, this is all done electrically, giving us greater control on EGR gases. Now we move over here to the turbo. We do have a pre-turbine throttle, essentially 2 restriction plates that move back and forth, giving us 630 braking horsepower. Make sure your seatbelt's buckled on this one.
The new 2027 D13, equipped with the more efficient swing blade turbo, will replace the turbo compounded model. The Aftertreatment System takes up about the same frame rail space as the current production model. Volvo's standard 24-volt alternator is for the truck. The 48-volt alternator is only going to work during light loads and idle situations.
Our decoupler here, again, reducing torsional vibration, keeping that shaft speed on that alternator consistent, nice, clean energy. And then when we look at the aftertreatment system, we have we have a preheater and then a host heater. Pre the DOC and DPF, and then one pre the SCR.
Duane, you had mentioned that this new engine will sunset the turbo compounding engine. What does this one do maybe better than what the turbo compounding one did?
So when we look at efficiency, this engine will have the same efficiency. Customers currently running turbo compounding engines today will have the same efficiency with this engine. Customers that are running VGT engines today in a regional application or vocational application will see about a 4% improvement in fuel economy.
DEF usage is about 7%, so fleets running in long-haul applications won't see an increase in DEF consumption. Operators in more regional or localized applications might see a slight increase.
So this engine will come to market, be available for order when?
This will be available here January 1, 2027. Now, when it becomes available, here's probably quarter 3.